In this video, I'm going to show you how to choose a jacket for cold weather conditions around the world, whether you're going to a high mountain or all the way to the bottom of the world at the South Pole. The first choice of jackets might just be simply a sweater. A good old-fashioned wool sweater is definitely a viable option. These have been used for, well, probably ever, and they're really good. Now, normally, I don't use them if I'm doing anything hard like climbing or towing a sled or anything, simply because if I get too hot, I have to pull this thing completely off, and that means I had to take all of my other layers off to get there. So this is a good option if you know you're not going to be doing any intense activity and you're generally going to be hanging out. So that is something to work with. The first option that I've used is simply a fleece jacket. This is Monterey, California, and these things are $13. Now, before you say click away and hey, I don't want to check this out, hang on. I'm going to show you at the end of this video my complete loadout from base layer all the way to outer layers of what I used in the worst days in Antarctica. Okay, so just hang on with me here. But this jacket actually went with me to Kilimanjaro. That's right. I climbed using this $13 fleece jacket plus a few other jackets on Kilimanjaro, and it worked great. The nice thing about a full zip jacket is that when you zip this thing up, oh yeah, I'm doing great, I'm warm. Ooh, I'm too warm. Unzip. Going, ooh, I'm too warm. I'm too warm. I can still unzip, and if I'm still too hot, I can completely pull my jacket back and cool off. That is a huge advantage compared to a quarter zip, a half zip, or just a regular sweater or some sort of pullover. And that's why I go with these basic fleece jackets. They're incredibly good. The next step up is a windproof professional fleece jacket. And for these guys, I actually got mine in Japan, had a good dear friends send these to me, and they are highly recommended. The windproof fleece is super good because, well, it cuts the wind, and it makes a big difference. Now, these jackets, they don't pill up as much. This jacket has 20 years of wear on it, so as you can imagine, you can see here, it's got a little bit of pilling, but not nearly as much as my $13 jacket. But hey, you know, if you don't have the funds for that and you want to get started, you can use a couple of these jackets. Now, one of the tricks is, well, what if it's too cold for one fleece jacket, but I don't want to have some other crazy jacket? You can actually pile these things up. In Antarctica, I literally used 2 fleece jackets as a layering option in Antarctica, where I would put both of these jackets together and then zip one up and then zip the second one up, and it did incredibly well. Now, that's not the only part of my layering system in Antarctica and on Denali, but it's highly functional. I'll be showing you that again at the end of the video. Now, when you start off with fleece jackets, you might say, really? Like, yeah, the nice thing about fleece is that it is water repellent, and if it gets soaked, you will still stay warm. That is a huge advantage of fleece. Now, they're a little stackly and crackly and staticky, but you know, that's just part of the deal. Now again, this type of sweater, I love these types of sweaters. This one is from Patagonia, and it is, what's the fabric made out of? 100% polyester. That is definitely an advantage, but again, if I'm just hanging out and camping, it's great. But this half zip here, if I'm too hot and I can't unzip anymore, I'm going to end up sweating. So where do you go from here? I go to the down vest. I've got almost exclusively Eddie Bauer down, and I'll explain why in just a moment, but a good little down vest, a 800 to 900 fill down, does incredibly well because you can keep the core of your body, your chest, warm, but you can let your arms free. If you need a little more flexibility, a down vest works very well in conjunction with other items. Would I use a down vest by itself in extremely cold conditions? No, but have I used this in the Sierras camping in the winter when it's 10 degrees? Yeah, actually, you'd be surprised how well they work. Now, if you need to step up from the down vest, you can go to a standard downlight sweater vest type jacket. These things work incredibly well, and as you can see, I've been wearing this thing for 15 years, and so far so good. It has a complete zip up here. It doesn't have anything in the way of pockets. It's pretty light. You can see it's just puffy, but I'll use this in Jackson Hole and be quite comfortable until it gets to about 0 or below 0 degrees. Then I've got to step it up. But these downlight sweater, they call them downlight sweaters, not really a sweater, it's a jacket. But these style and this weight of down works incredibly well, and it keeps you quite warm. Now, if you're going to slightly colder conditions, what I would recommend, and this is, I got this before I really knew much, is you really want to step up and get yourself a down jacket with a hood. And the reason you want to get a hood is that it covers your neck and it can keep you a lot warmer. So when you get that hood on, you don't have to start out with a hat. This works incredibly well. You zip it up, it's got a little chest pocket here, you know, for your phone or whatever you're doing, but this jacket is substantially warmer than my standard downlight vest or sweater or vest, simply because of the neck collar. When I zip this thing up, it really seals me in, and if it's really cold, I put this on and it does incredibly well. Now, as I promised, why have I gone with Eddie Bauer for my down versus Arc'teryx or anything else like that, or North Face? And simply because of cost. The Eddie Bauer First Ascent series is made out of 800 to 900 fill down. One of my jackets I'll show you in a moment has 850 down or fill down, and 850 fill down, yeah. And this jacket here, the guide jacket, I'll show you in just a second when I put this on. When it's really cold, this is the jacket I go for. You can see it's substantially thicker, but on the inside here, you can see that 800 plus fill down makes a huge difference. Why do you want a finer fill down with a higher number? Because for the warmth versus weight, the higher the fill number, the better off you are. The basic Eddie Bauer jackets, 600 fill, 550, they're okay, but you spend a little bit more, but get it on Black Friday or something like that, and it works incredibly well. And you can see the thickness on this jacket here, super, super puffy. And then when I zip this up, boom, how I'm already broiling in my studio here. It's got a nice pocket, it's much deeper than the downlight vest, and it doesn't have any internal pockets here, but it does have a draw cord as a snow skirt. It has much heavier zippers rather than the finer zippers on there. And you can see here, it's got the YKK zipper. This is really important. On your really heavy jackets, I would say you probably don't want a jacket that has real fine teeth, because if it gets iced up, it's a fight. So these coarser teeth jackets are nice. This is not meant for the rain or anything else, but whew, I'm getting hot. This jacket I've worn minus 20, minus 25 degrees, no problem. It works super great. So that would be called, called the guide jacket, and you can see here, it's got the extra wrist straps to tighten the wrists around, so when you put your gloves on, you can seal yourself up a lot better. And it's got this nice fuzz on the neck here, so you're not constantly irritated by direct nylon on your skin. Now, the next and final option for me when I need to go all out is my Peak 15 jacket by Eddie Bauer. And as you'll see here, this thing is basically like wearing a sleeping bag. Now, full disclosure, I am not sponsored by Patagonia, Eddie Bauer, Outdoor Research, Monterey Bay Aquarium, Japanese fleece company, or any of the other brands that I'm going to show you. I've purchased these with my own money, my own credit card, my own earnings, because I want to not be beholden to any other company, but that way you know that this video is truthful and I'm not getting paid by a company to say, oh, this is great, go buy it. Nope. Also, check out the links below in the video description to all these items so you too can check them out. But as you can see here, this jacket is, well, huge. Again, it's got the breast pockets much deeper. You'll see on the inside here, it actually has glove pockets, which are really nice. I never really use them because I stuff a glove in there, and if I'm walking and that glove works its way out and falls out, I'll be crying. But check this thing out. When I fully load it up, I put the hood on, which has a massive neck covering. I mean, look how poofy this thing is. It is crazy. But when I zip this up, as you can see, this is like wearing a literal sleeping bag for adventuring. I've used this on Denali, I've used this on the South Pole, I used this in Yellowstone when it was minus 45 degrees, and I can just stand there in a blizzard, no problem. So a Peak 15 jacket, a super heavy jacket, totally awesome. It's not terribly expensive, but you can't really use this jacket like anywhere other than standing around. If you start hiking or climbing in this thing, you will simply be broiled. Now, part of your layering system needs to be a weather shell system as well. My first choice here is just the super light duty Eddie Bauer jacket again. And why? Again, I'm not sponsored by Eddie Bauer, but it's super inexpensive. For this Weather Edge Pro stuff, whatever this actually is, it works incredibly well. I've used it in plenty of storms, and it's a nice light shell layer to keep me dry without going super crazy. So I've used this as my travel jacket and just basic storm stuff. Yeah, but it's got the snow skirt drawstring. It's got these, so that's a major consideration when you're looking at jacket, is for the wrist to seal up your wrists. It's got the little draw cord deals to draw your hood down. It's got this nice over lip here to keep the rain from off your face. So when you're looking at a light duty shell jacket, definitely make sure that it's got all these different things. It's also got a draw cord in the back so you can pull the hood off your face rather than coming over your face. That is a nice feature. Now, the next step up, again, Eddie Bauer. You'd think I was an Eddie Bauer associate or something, but no, I'm not sponsored by them. It's just over the years, when they have their sales, they're the best deal going. This is my heavier jacket from Eddie Bauer, and this is a Gore-Tex Pro Shell from them. And you can see that the fabric is a little bit different. It's got a double layer in here, but it's got the all critical iPod earbud things. I guess everybody uses wireless now, but same sort of thing. It's got this weatherproof stripping here. One thing I do not like is instead of an overflap, they're relying on the waterproof zipper in the inner flap. I don't find that as effective, but oh well, it definitely works. But I would prefer an overflap. That is a far superior design. Same kind of thing when I seal this sucker up. I can pretty much handle just about anything. However, because it's Gore-Tex, when I'm climbing, going uphill, yeah, you're gonna get pretty hot. So instead, what I would recommend for you to do is look at the event fabric. Event fabric is a totally different animal than Gore-Tex. It is breathable, but I would say it's far more breathable than Gore-Tex. How do I know this? Because I took the previous series of this REI jacket to Greenland, hiked over 100 miles in the Greenland tundra, up and down hills, minus 20, minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 18 C or something like that. You have to look that up. But the event fabric is incredibly good at breathing. So when I'm going up and down mountains, this is what I choose to go for on Denali. It works really well. It does have pit zips. I don't really like pit zips because when it does rain, Water actually eventually gets in here. I've had it with every pit zip jacket I've ever owned. The nice thing, you really don't need this with the event. Why REI put this on here, I don't know. But again, this jacket shell has the same thing. It's got this nice hood, got a draw cord on there, and that is another layer to keep you warm, not just to keep the weather off, but this is actually a warm layer. The event fabric is not nearly as warm as the Gore-Tex because the event fabric is so much more breathable. It's far more effective in keeping you cool, which is often the trouble in outdoor activities. And now I'm going to show you my Mega Parka. And again, I'm not sponsored by REI. They don't know me. I know them, but they don't know me. But this is my Mega Parka from Wintergreen in Ely, Minnesota. Link below. Love my Wintergreen Parka. This thing is the ultimate. It's an anorak style. It is huge. It covers the seat area. Now you'll notice it does not have insulation. It has this inner liner and then it has this outer shell. And I could only wear this thing in Antarctica when it was like 30, 40 knot winds because this jacket is so incredibly good. I had the fur ruff put on by, I guess it's upside down, but you'll have to read it from there. Forever Alaska, highly, highly recommended. Wintergreen jackets if you want the ultimate in craziness. This is my final answer when it's all gone nuts. Storming and freezing, minus 40 degrees, 50 knot winds. Super, super huge pockets. Now I got this super oversized because, like I promised you, I'm going to show you my full loadout for Antarctica when things were going really, really bad. Now, bad being relative. So what I would do in Antarctica, wait for it here, is I would have an entire series of equipment, and you can learn more about that in my book, Adventure Expedition 1. I wrote that with Dr. Terry Williams about how to expedition, and the book talks all about these different jackets, the pluses and minuses. I highly recommend this, not because it's my book, of course, but because you'll learn a lot. And if you just want to read what it's like to be in the raging storms in Antarctica, Antarctic Tears, this bad boy will explain it all of what I did and went through. And if you want to check it out in all this gear in Denali, Lost in Windy Corner, great way to go. So now, as promised, I will show you my full loadout. Now this is the Icebreaker heavy wool 260 weight shirt. Again, not sponsored by Icebreaker. They don't know me. I love their stuff. Wretchedly expensive. Oh, get it on sale. But when it was really, really bad, I would start with the Icebreaker shirt, and then I would put my tighter fitting Japanese polar fleece on here. And the reason I would put this one on in the inner layer is I don't need water repellency, and I could care less about that. And then I would put my second fleece jacket on here as my other layer, and I would get this all zipped up, as you can see. Hopefully you can hear the microphone here. There we go, sorry about that. And now I will zip up this. This is my second layer, and then I had my event shell as my third layer, going all out here. Ooh. Starting to get tough to put this in. Get it in there, and that's where you want to actually oversize your jackets, because when you've got multiple layers inside, the nice thing about fleece is if it gets squashed, it doesn't lose its insulation ability compared to down. If you squash down, it's worthless. So I would then have this jacket as my next layer up. Woo, yeah. And now I would have my Wintergreen Parka as my towing jacket. So I would actually load all of these jackets up, and you'll notice I don't have a down insulation layer because the down was too warm for me when I'm towing a sled that's loaded with, two sleds loaded with 330 pounds or about 180 kilos worth of gear. The last thing I want is to be too hot. So, whew, I'm already getting broiling here, like almost gonna break out in a sweat. But this jacket system is exactly what I wore in Antarctica as I headed to the South Pole. Again, check out Adventure Expedition 1. It talks about this whole jacket system. So I've got my inner wool jacket, my inner fleece jacket, my outer fleece jacket, my event shell, and my winter green parka. And this is what I wore, plus my mask and goggles. Check out the other videos below, to tow this crazy sled system all the way to the South Pole. This is my worst weather option. I did have one other option. If it was crazy bad, I would put my first 150 weight wool shirt under this wool shirt, but I can't wear it, I'm just too hot. Then the 260, then fleece number 1, then fleece number 2, and then my event jacket, and then my parka. And this is literally what I wore to take myself to the South Pole in the most extreme weather on Earth. My name's Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. Please like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links to all my different books so you can learn too all these little tidbits and tricks I've shared in this video and others in adventuring. Stay safe out there and have a good time, and thank you for watching.